Now at 7, earlier this year, President Trump signed into law a bill that could help stem the toxic green algae flow in Florida by building a reservoir south of Lake Okeechobee where polluted water could be sent and cleaned before being released into the Everglades.
The reservoir is slated to be built on 16,000 acres of land owned by the state. Everything seemed to be on track, but a controversy has erupted that environmentalists say could throw the future of the reservoir in doubt. CBS 4's Jim DeFede has been following this issue for years, and he joins us now. Jim.
Good evening. All right, it was a stunning development. Last month, the South Florida Water Management District approved a lease that will allow sugar giant Florida Crystals to continue growing sugarcane on the 16,000 acres of public land needed for that reservoir. The lease had been negotiated in secret for months and was only posted online at 9 p.m. on the night before it was voted on. The move stunned environmentalists.
My name is Daniel Andrews. I'm the co-founder and executive director at Captains for Clean Water. I'm also not very happy right now based on what I'm seeing and hearing. You know, it's really a disgrace that there's even consideration about extending the lease. When this item got added to the agenda last night at 9 o'clock, I had to find this on my cell phone, and I'm sitting there laying in bed. I don't think that's really the way that government in America should work, where we're squeaking things in at the last minute, not listening to the public.
It's really, honestly, I feel like it's a disgrace. This is a public agency. You guys are required to act in the sunshine with proper notice. I think it's a real shame the way that this agency is operating. It seems like, honestly, and it's an attempt to hide the ball. It's an attempt to hide the fact that these leases are being extended and being voted on without any public information or awareness.
Now, Republican Congressman Brian Mast also attended the meeting and asked the Water Management District to postpone the vote so that both he and Governor-elect Ron DeSantis could review the lease. But the district refused. I sat down with Congressman Mast recently, and he called on the members of the Water Management District, all of whom were appointed by Rick Scott, to resign.
So nobody's questions were answered by that board. Everybody's questions were ignored, and they said, no, we're going to go out there, we're going to go vote yes on these, even though people haven't had the opportunity to review them. The governor-elect has not had the opportunity to review them. The federal government has not had the opportunity to review them, and they basically said they couldn't give a rat's caboose what everybody else thinks.
The Water Management District says that they can get out of the lease as soon as construction on the reservoir is set to begin. They will argue that it will actually speed up construction of the reservoir. But the terms of the 8-year lease strongly favor Florida Crystals and doesn't give the state the flexibility it might need in an emergency. Last week, I interviewed Brandon Tucker, who has been on the Water Management District since 2017. So I spoke to Congressman Mast. I did an interview with him on Saturday. He believes that you and the members of the South Florida Water Management District should now resign. What's your reaction to that?
He's wrong. And I think as he and I build a relationship, it's one that we've just started in the last few months. He and I have met in person several times. I've told him we may not always agree on how to get there, but I can assure you I'm a volunteer. I don't get paid to do this. But the reason I love doing it is because I grew up on the north end of Lake Okeechobee. I grew up 3 miles from the Kissimmee River with one of the biggest environmental disasters when they channelized that river. Did the damage that it did that we're all trying to fix today. I take it incredibly personally. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that we get this right. I'm not a politician. I'm not worried about that someone's not going to vote for me. I'm not worried about, because no matter what I do, someone's going to get upset. I knew that when I took this position. I don't get paid to do it. To resign, my life was good before this. It'll be good after it. But I really believe in what I'm doing here. And I believe I'm doing it for the people, and I'm doing it for all the right reasons, to get our environment right, to get this right. We have one shot at this. And this is the biggest issue. I told Governor Scott this when I was appointed. This is the biggest issue of our time. Water quality and water quantity in South Florida, if we get this wrong, we're done. It's going to be an economic disaster and an environmental disaster. So I take that incredibly personally. I don't in any way see that as being arrogant at all. I don't see it as an entitlement at all. I see that as the pressure of knowing the facts that I knew at that time. I knew that when I made that decision, I was going to take heat for it. I'd have been a fool not to think otherwise. But I believed and knew when I was at peace, and I'm still at peace today, that that was the right thing to do for the people of South Florida. It was the right thing to do for the people that live on the St. Lucie and the Calusi Estuary and on Lake Okeechobee. I believe that with all my heart.
And if Governor-elect DeSantis calls on you and the other members to step down and resign, will you?
I would respectfully ask that he let me continue my 2.5 years left on this board. And I think once he sits down with me and he hears my heart and he hears my sincerity, that I want to do what's right for the people. I want to work with him to see this reservoir built. I want to work with him to get the Herbert Hoover Dike finished. I want to work with him to save Lake Okeechobee and get nutrient loading on the north end reduced. I think once he and I look forward to that conversation, because I've not ever met Governor-elect DeSantis. I look forward to that conversation. I think once he and I sit down one-on-one and we meet, I think that he would think twice about asking for my resignation.
Well, Jim, Mr. Tucker's saying all the right things, but you got to scratch your head to wonder why they would extend these leases. Explain to us why obtaining this land is so important.
So this reservoir is critical. As we've seen for the last few years, the blue-green algae gets flushed out through the St. Lucie and Caloosahatchee estuaries and end up on the east and west coast of Florida, whether it's a Treasure Coast around Stewart or on the west coast. And it's killing fish, it's destroying, it's making people unhealthy. Rather than send the water east and west, this is an attempt to send this polluted water out of Lake Okeechobee south to this reservoir where it will be cleaned, filtered, and then sent down into the Everglades where the water is desperately needed.
Right, it's a natural flow of the water.
It's a natural flow, correct.
Okay, so when the legislature debated this in 2017, they talked about allowing farming to continue on the land until the reservoir was built. So isn't this what the Water Management District is doing?
And that's a valid point, and that's a point that the Water Management District makes. But here's the thing, even Brian Mast says he's not necessarily opposed to allowing farming, sugarcane farming, to continue on this land. The problem is a couple of fold. One, again, this process, this idea of secretly negotiating a lease for months, springing it on the public at 9 p.m. the night before it was voted on. We don't know if these were the best terms. I've looked at this lease carefully. The notice of termination that they have is very narrowly construed. So in other words, you're going to have a hard time getting Florida crystals off this land if you need it early for remediation. Another issue that comes up sometimes we talk about is storing water. One of the alternatives that could be done in an emergency before a reservoir is built is you could actually move water onto this land and store it rather than flush it out east and west. That is not an option under this lease. So this lease was a horrible negotiation in which it really ties the hands of the state. Farming may have been a factor that could have been part of a lease, but not the way this was done.
So this will continue to be a political fight in the state of Florida?
This is going to be a huge fight because one of the things that you have to understand is Brian Mast has been an opponent to Big Sugar. Ron DeSantis has been an opponent to Big Sugar. That's one of the few things. Environmentalists have a hard time sometimes with Republicans, but these are two Republicans who they tend to support on this issue because they have voted against price supports for the sugar industry. Big Sugar spent millions and millions of dollars to try to take on Ron DeSantis and block him from being governor. Now that he is the governor, you're going to see a proxy war with Big Sugar, where Big Sugar is going to try to defend the Water Management District, and the governor is going to go after these board members. Look, if the South Florida Water Management District wanted to dispel the notion that they are not in bed with Big Sugar, you don't do a lease like this. Right. Something like this feeds that perception that you are beholden to Big Sugar, not beholden to the interests of the people. And that's why Congressman Mast is calling for the resignation, and likely you'll see Governor DeSantis do the same thing. We did in a half hour on this earlier yesterday on Facing South Florida. All of that is posted online along with a story giving more details. We'll have that on CBSMiami.com.
I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about this.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.